Now it's my very great pleasure to call upon Mark Taylor to address you. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you, Phil, Mayor, ladies and gentlemen, and many other distinguished guests here. I too, very much like Henry, have always felt very fortunate to have spent the first 14 years of my life in the country. Now, for those of you who may not know, I'm not a purebred. I'm not a purebred Waggatonian or Wagga, whatever you call a person from Wagga. For those of you who don't know, I was actually born in Leeton. And then I spent a couple of years down at Darton, and that's just near the Mildura, on the good side of Mildura, on the New South Wales side of Mildura, where my sister was born. I then moved to West Wyalong at the age of about 4, I think it was. I had 2.5 years there, started school there, and finally got to Wagga when I was 7 years old, and started school in year 2 at South Wagga Primary School, just behind us here. And I had Mrs. Walker as my teacher. Terrific teacher. I don't actually put up with me, but a terrific teacher. So I did my schooling there, and then Mount Austin High School. But I suppose I had a number of country homes. Obviously Leeton, my birthplace, Darton, West Wyalong, but Wagga really is, no doubt about it, my cricketing home, because I learnt to play the game here. First games of cricket I can remember, and I spoke to a couple of the younger boys earlier today from South Wagga down here, were in those nets at the back of the school, and they're still there. But they now run the wrong way. The nets are still there, there's still 2 lanes, but they ran the other way when I was at school. So we kept the incinerator. That was the place that you wanted to sort of hide away from the teachers. So we kept the nets away from that, and we had them in a slightly different area. But that's where I started playing cricket, and I graduated to the ground out here, to your right, which is now going to become Mark Taylor Oval. And I'm delighted, and I'm very proud and honoured that the council in Cricket New South Wales would decide to allocate that ground to me, because a lot of people will say, well, that's Mark, that's the number 4 ground. That's the, you don't really want that ground, you want one of these grounds. No, I wanted that ground badly, because I made my first ever 100 right on that ground there at the age of, I think I might have been just 14, I think I was, in 1978. So that ground there, where those boys are playing there, has great memories for me. First time I ever made 100. And when I think back to 1978, when I made that 100, I never ever thought that one day I might play cricket for Australia. That never really crossed my mind. I was playing out there because I wanted to enjoy the game of cricket. And I wanted to play with 10 of my best mates, which were the guys I played cricket with at the time. So they're the memories that I have of playing cricket in Wagga. And I'm delighted to see Mal Nowak here and Graham Willis, a couple of mates of mine. We played cricket together and against each other at various times, and that's the reason that I love cricket, because it introduced me to a lot of people, not just in places like West Wyalong and Wagga, but also in Sydney when I moved there in 1978. There is a few people which I need to thank. I need to thank my mother and father, who are here today, for driving me around all those venues. So Tony and Judy down here. They were the ones who had to put up with me every Saturday and probably every second Sunday, saying, I want to go to Bolton Park. I wanted to go to Henwood Park, or whatever it was around here. And I know a lot of mums and dads will be doing exactly the same thing over this weekend. And I'm now a dad myself, and I do exactly the same thing. You go from one ground to the next. So I thank them for that, and it's great that we've been able to spend the last couple of days. We drove down yesterday, went via Goulburn, which is one of mum and dad's old hometown. My elder sister was born there. So it was good to go via Goulburn, and we've had a chance to look around Wagga, and yeah, some things have changed, but some things have stayed the same. And it's great that some things have stayed the same, because they hold very fond memories for all of us. I must thank people like Bernie O'Connor, who was my Warren Smith, I suppose, and it's great to see Warren here, who's, as everyone knows, standing around this marquee, what Warren's done in cricket in this town. Well, Bernie O'Connor, unfortunately, his life was cut short. But I have very fond memories of Bernie. He was a great mentor for me, as was Derek Rogers, as Henry's already mentioned. Once again, his life was cut way too short. But those sort of people, well, I don't necessarily think they inspire you to play, but they make playing more fun, because they help you out along the way with little tips, some little clues on what to do in that situation should it arise again. And I have great memories of those two gentlemen who are friends of mine and friends of our family. As Henry said, this is a very proud moment for me. I've always seen Wagga, as I said right at the start of my speech, as my country cricket home, I suppose. And to have a ground named after me here for years to come will be something that I won't forget. And as I said, to look over there and think that's where I made my first ton and really started my cricketing career, which is, I suppose, now been the vast part of my life since that day, some, what was it, 35 years ago. And it all started here in Wagga. So can I thank the Mayor, can I thank Cricket New South Wales, can I thank the Wagga Cricket here as well for bestowing this honour upon me. It's something I certainly don't take lightly. I'm delighted that I've been able to spend a couple of days here to look around the town, and I think that all I can hope for is that these signs behind us here inspire some of those young kids to get out there, enjoy your cricket, play for the fun of it, and maybe one day they'll be tearing down my sign and putting one of yours up there. Thanks very much.